happening this week. House Republicans are arguing with House Republicans, and they can't agree on their version of the House bill. And this is only the first step in the American legislative process. The Senate has to pass their version of the bill as well. It goes to a joint committee for compromises. Both chambers then have to agree and vote on the compromise bill before it can be sent to the president to be signed. So, House Republicans fighting with House Republicans, what are they fighting over? Well, apparently in a Pentagon spending bill, there was $300 million in aid for Ukraine appropriated. There's about 50 to 60 members of Congress who hate Ukraine, and they don't like this. Speaker McCarthy originally said he was going to take it out, but then said no, it's staying in. This is separate from the $24 billion that President Biden is trying to appropriate for military spending for the next year. I don't know exactly what this $300 million in aid is for, but I'm guessing once Speaker McCarthy was briefed, he then decided he wanted to keep it in. Will shut down on the end of the month. Members of the military will get paid on September 29th. The government will shut down on October 1st. I'm optimistic that by October 12th, Congress will pass a budget. Otherwise, members of the military won't be paid on October 13th. If they blow past October 13th, it's very possible then the U.S. government shutdown could extend until October 31st. If they don't pass something by October 31st, members of the military won't be paid on November 1st. Biden saying exactly what I was saying a week ago on this channel.
Let's be clear. If the government shuts down, members of the U.S. military are going to have to continue to work and not get paid. A government shutdown could impact everything from food safety to cancer research to Head Start programs for children. Funding the government is one of those basic responsibilities of Congress. And it's time for Republicans to start doing the job America elected them to do.
So House Republicans have to agree on a bill. But unfortunately in their caucus, they have members like Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let me play a clip for you if you forgot who Marjorie Greene is.
Charlie, by the way, we hadn't even talked about this. The country that Mitch McConnell and Schumer and Lindsey Graham and Tom Cotton and everybody can't wait to give another $100 billion to. Ukraine is one of the worst countries on the earth for child sex trafficking, and they're harvesting children's organs.
So that is U.S. Congressperson Marjorie Taylor Greene claiming that Ukraine is one of the worst countries in the world for child sex trafficking, and that the Ukrainians are mass harvesting the organs of their children. Marjorie Taylor Greene says insane stuff like this all day, every day. It's kind of what she's known for. And for people who think I'm cherry picking, you can go on social media. You can go on her Twitter feed. And this tweet is from yesterday, September 25th. This is what she has to say about Ukraine. Congress hasn't voted for war powers in Ukraine, but we're sending Abrams tanks, depleting our military arsenal. The United States currently has 4,800 Abrams tanks, and we've sent 31. Less than 1% of our existing stockpile of Abrams tanks have been sent to Ukraine, but according to Green, this is depleting our military arsenal. Every day under Biden's leadership, the threat of World War III looms larger, and our vulnerability on the world stage deepens. This narrative of if we stand up to Russia and we support Ukraine, this will trigger World War III. It's Kremlin propaganda. That is Russian disinformation that Marjorie Taylor Greene spreads every single day. All caps, no money to Ukraine. She's not saying we need accountability in the monies being sent to Ukraine. It's just a flat no. People like Marjorie Taylor Greene are willing to shut down the US government. They're willing to defund the Pentagon as long as they can help Russia win this war. But here's the truth. Marjorie Taylor Greene will never talk about the children of Russia currently being indoctrinated and brainwashed, dressed up as soldiers, being taught every day in school to hate the United States, to hate the West, to hate NATO, that everybody living in the West are Nazis who need to be killed. And this is what Putin is training all of these children for. A restoration of their 1914 imperial borders. This is what Putin and the oligarchs want. Anything that once ever belonged to Russia, the Kremlin says they want back. They're starting with Ukraine. If they can win in Ukraine, they'll Russify the people, turn Ukraine's children into soldiers, and then send them to the next country. These wars will never end unless we stand up to the Russians today and help Ukraine win this war. Russian policy in Ukraine, says UN expert, up to 90% of Ukrainian captives report being abused. This is a genocide. What is happening in Ukraine, Russia states it every day on television, that anyone who chooses to identify as Ukrainian, they will be killed. Their children will be taken, they'll be sent to Siberia and handed off to strangers. Anyone in the world, anyone in the US government who doesn't call out this absolute evil is obviously working for the Russians. Here's a post I just want to mention to you guys. The city of Izium was liberated a year ago. Ukraine found mass graves, and just yesterday, it took a year. The final reports on all of the bodies found in these mass graves. 194 men, 215 women, 5 children. These bodies found in these mass graves in Izium were missing limbs, missing genitals, head and chest injuries, rib fractures, and signs of strangulation. There are more mass graves throughout the occupied territories. Whatever a Russian soldier wants to do to a woman or a child or an elderly person, there's no accountability. It's a genocide. What's happening to Ukrainian civilians is reprehensible, and anyone who doesn't call out this evil is fueling it. They're part of it. They're a willing participant. But the free and democratic world is going to fight back. The United States is offering Poland a $2 billion loan to support its defense modernization. So Poland's not messing around. Given their history with the Russians and everything that they've suffered the last 100 years, they know that if, for whatever reason, Russia can succeed in Ukraine, then Poland is next. So Poland's been on a buying spree, and it looks like the United States is going to help them. A $2 billion loan, probably at a good interest rate. They can pay it back over the next decade. But I imagine a lot of this money is going to be spent with US defense contractors. It's a win for Poland, a win for Ukraine, a win for the United States. And the Abrams tanks have arrived. This is confirmed by President Zelensky. The decision to provide Abrams tanks to Ukraine represented a U-turn, as American defense officials had repeatedly said they weren't suited for Ukraine's needs. So the training took place in Germany. The Ukrainian forces graduated their training. The tanks are now in Ukraine. I think the Ukrainian military is very excited to get these tanks on the front lines because they have a firing range of 4 kilometers. They can launch incendiary or explosive rounds, depleted uranium rounds, from 4 kilometers away. So we're going to get the first pictures and videos of Abrams tanks on the battlefield, probably in the coming weeks. Putin's war machine risks running out of fuel, so Russia is banning the export of gasoline and diesel. You might have seen these headlines, but Russia makes more money from exporting their gas and diesel to other countries. This is causing severe shortages domestically for ordinary Russians. Prices are going up. Some gas stations in Russia are just completely running out of fuel and can't get resupplied. So Putin has put a temporary moratorium on gas and diesel exports. I don't know. This could be something. Let's hope it's a bigger issue for Russia. And this image is hilarious. This is the price of gasoline per 0.9 liters in Russia. Here in the United States, we measure gasoline in gallons, but the rest of the world, you measure gasoline in full liters. This is shrinkflation. Russia is embarrassed by the skyrocketing price for their own fuel, so they're trying to hide it from their people by posting the price per 0.9 liter for gasoline. That's pretty good. Final feel-good clip is 2 Ukrainian boys, Sasha and David, trying to fundraise for the armed forces of Ukraine. We've got a young Bill and Ted here.